Water Street. This is in 1998. That's why you don't see the Westin. And it was just nature. So what I'm going to do is this, I would call this my defined stage. So now it's time to refine it and to bring in those magical space elements. So again, it doesn't have to be literally space, but I'm very much about the metaphysical, and I wanted to explore this. Note two things. My paper is taped down. When you use water-based media, it can lift up, it can wrinkle, so you want to make sure first and foremost your paper is taped down. Secondly, also note that my drawing does not have the 2-inch border. Your drawing will have that 2-inch border. This just happens to be the specifications from 1998. All right, so what I'm going to do in this refining stage is I like the scientific measurements. I'm not interested in the correct placements. I want it to be almost architectonic and just scientific, so juxtaposed with the organic of nature. I want this to more so read like a scientific study. So what I'm gonna do is what I've been sharing with you all. I'm gonna hold the pencil very lightly, and I'm going to draw the entirety of the sun, even under the cloud, even though I'm only gonna have it peek from the cloud. So you always wanna use your rotary cuff and get the entirety of the circle behind and in front of objects, and then you can go ahead and erase the line work you don't need. And what that ensures is that your proportions will be correct. All right, so we have, and then we're gonna have like a little baby Mercury. Oh, baby, so little and cute. All right, Venus de Milo. All right, Venus, you're gonna be over here.
Is this the original one, or is it a photocopy?
It's a photocopy because
Okay,
it was
because I was so scared. I was like, who's in this guy?
I adore you all. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put in Earth. And look how I'm not trying to get it perfect on the first time. I'm using my rotary cuff. I'm getting in that circular motion. And then I'm coming in. And because it's facing the sun, the lighter side will be here. And I'm gonna go ahead and define it. But it's so fun to share with you painting because this is how I've made my living for 25 plus years. This is my love language. All right, so let's go ahead and get in Mars. And look at the line variation, like how I made this deep swoop here where the shadow will be, because again, our sun is here. A little bit of shadow. All right, Saturn's my favorite. I love the ring around Saturn. So even though, again, you have creative control, so this cloud would cover Saturn, and I want Saturn to show. I don't know, I love Saturn. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Saturn up here. And I'm going to get the ring around Saturn. And look how I'm going all the way on top of Saturn, and then what I'll do is define where it's in front of the cloud, where it's in front of Saturn, where it's behind Saturn. And then I'm going to erase where it is not. Oh, that's not good. I'm glad I made a photocopy. All right, so we're gonna erase that line work, but look how it helped us to get those perfect lines. And we are going to do some watercolor and Prisma on top of this, so I'm not worried. Beauty and imperfection. All right, so now I'm going to further define Saturn. Pressing harder. That ring will be behind the clouds. We have the ring here. We are in good shape. All right, I actually think I'm gonna stop with Pluto because I just feel it. And then again, I'm going to build up the surface with Prismacolor, watercolor, and eventually I'm going to do a layer of varnish and then have little feathers and acrylic floating from heaven because acrylic is opaque. So it will go on top and cover up all of this. So ideally, I would usually do watercolor first and then Prisma, but because we don't have time for it to dry, I'm going to go ahead and start with Prisma and then I'll embellish with watercolor. So, as you all know, I adore Hatching and Cross Hatching so much. It's my favorite. All right, so you can see I'm holding the pencil in different directions, pressing lighter, pressing harder. And when I squint my eyes here, it's like a little bit brighter here, so I'm gonna use a little bit of hatching. And then I love this kind of like halo effect, and when I go in with the watercolors for the sky, this will lightly show. I'm following the directions of the sun. And like what I love about Prismas is look how you can blend. Like look how beautiful that is. So in addition to mark making, you can use the side of the pencil to create like the softest value, and just keep squinting your eyes at your work and it will show you where to continue to lay in value. All right, so it's kind of like this frame. And then there's almost like a white, and it wouldn't be solid under this cloud, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in, remember I taught you about the rule of threes? So like a larger area, a smaller mark making area, and a tertiary, and that's good design. All right, so outside of that orange, I'm gonna go ahead, and what will happen is with the watercolor, hopefully the wax of the pencils will not turn my yellow outside of the orange green, but one way, because you know how yellow plus blue equals green, so one thing I think I'll do is go ahead and lay in some value with the Prismas outside of that, so that when I lay in the watercolor, it's not gonna make that turn green. But I have to also be careful with the yellow because that will too, right? All right. Okay. Just keep squinting your eyes. Alright, so now I'm not going to spend too much time as I would and you will on yours, because I would literally spend like 5 hours on this, but I'm trying to do a quick demo. And Mallory, if you'll let me know when it gets to 6 minutes, because it will cut out. And then we'll start a new video.
7 minutes.
Let's go ahead and start.